The state of emergency that Mrs. Gandhi declared on the um, early morning of 26th June 1975 um, was preceded by a series of events which required to be understood that it was not a knee-jerk uh, action of hers for because she had many people thought that because the Allahabad High Court had set aside uh, her seat, as saying that it was got by corrupt means, and therefore in reaction to that she did this. That's not quite absolutely not quite correct. In fact, it is very small part of what motivated Mrs. Gandhi to declare the state of emergency. The whole process started with the split of the Congress party in 1969. And it was clearly between the communist driven intellectuals who were influencing Mrs. Gandhi. And of course, it was against people who were not communists. They were certainly not capitalists or extremists or anything of the kind, but there were people who were Gandhians in the original sense, and therefore a split was caused, and Mrs. Gandhi got a party which depended on the communists, and then the elections came and the Bangladesh war and so on. So she, for a brief period of 3 years, she was in the, she was a real heroine. Durga Mata, as Atal Bihari Vajpayee unfortunately called her, and so on. But the fact is that all this time things were happening. For instance, the nationalization of wholesale trade of food grains, which was a fiasco, and therefore she had to give it up in the end. But it was done. That's a communist proposal. Kumar Mangalam was that time very influential. He was a Paka communist who joined the Congress party. Gokhale was another person like that. Same thing with Barua, who was the president of the party. So the what Kumar Mangalam was systematically doing till 1973, when a plane crash in which he was flying, the Indian Airlines flight crashed, and he died in that. But he had worked out a scheme by which, step by step, the country's economy would be taken over by the government, except for petty things like shopkeepers and so on and so forth. But then almost everything would be taken over. So that was the trend that was happening. And Indira Gandhi also signed the Indo-Soviet Treaty, which called for an enormous amount of Russian presence in India, Russian presence in policy making. So all these were leading to a situation where she was slowly building towards getting rid of the annual or the 5-yearly elections and become a dictator, like you have in Turkey today, or you have in Russia with Putin today.